On a quiet spring night in 1932, an infant vanished from a crib in a suburban home. The child was Charles Jr., son of America's most famous pilot, and the story gripped the country. Across the nation, people watched the headlines and waited for answers that never seemed to come quickly enough. This is the story of the Lindbergh kidnapping, a case of fame, forensic clues, and questions that lasted decades. Charles Lindbergh became a national hero after his solo transatlantic flight in 1927. By 1932, he and his wife Anne were wealthy and famous, living quietly in Hopewell, New Jersey. Their son, Charles Jr., was only 20 months old, a small child in a big national story. That ordinary family life would soon become the center of one of America's most infamous crimes. On March 1st, 1932, the household's night staff discovered an empty crib.
Oh no.
A ransom note was found on the windowsill. The first clear sign that something terrible had happened. The family called police, and the small town awoke to news of a child taken from the home of a national icon. From that moment, the case became a national story, full of leads, rumors, and growing fear.
The investigation expanding tonight has reached the highest offices in the Capitol. New names, new leads, and questions that won't be silenced. Stay with us as the story unfolds.
Investigators found multiple ransom notes demanding $50,000 and a ladder outside the nursery window. Police processed clues and measured tool marks, but the trail had many false leads. Tips poured in from across the country, some serious, many speculative. The early investigation was massive and chaotic, and it only grew as the case hit the front pages. Newspapers printed every rumor, and the search expanded with volunteers, detectives, and nationwide attention.
Investigation grows.
Amateur sleuths chased tips, phone lines lit up, and the tiny town became a hub for reporters. The country followed obsessively. The case reflected national anxieties about safety and fame. As the search continued, so did speculation. Every lead mattered, and many distracted. On May 12, 1932, a local worker found the body of a small child in a wooded area near the Lindbergh home.
Take it from here, sir. You did the right thing calling us.
Yeah, okay.
Identification followed, and the nation grieved. This shifted the case from ransom to murder for many. The discovery intensified the hunt for whoever could explain both the abduction and the child's death. Families and investigators demanded answers, and the pressure on law enforcement only grew. Investigators examined the ladder used in the abduction. Its wood, nails, and tool marks offered clues. Experts traced the ladder's wood to a specific type and compared tool marks to possible makers. Handwriting analysts compared ransom notes to samples from suspects, a key part of the case. Taken together, these physical clues would later point detectives toward a suspect. In September 1934, investigators arrested Bruno Richard Hauptmann after marked ransom bills appeared in his possession.
1, 2, 3, 16, 18.
Hauptmann maintained his innocence, but officials linked him to the ladder and money through evidence and witness accounts. The arrest set the stage for what would become one of the nation's most watched trials. But the path from arrest to conviction would be full of debate about evidence and fairness.
The debate begins.
The trial in 1935 in Flemington drew national attention with a packed courtroom and non-stop press coverage.
All rise. Court is now in session. Ladies and gentlemen, look at the flourish on the word truly. The ransom note and the defendant's own letter carry the same unique signature. And here, this broken rung from the ladder lines up with the very board taken from his attic, right down to the nail holes. You don't get a fit like that by accident.
Prosecutors presented handwriting matches, ladder wood ties, and ransom bills as primary evidence. The defense challenged the forensics and raised questions about chain of custody and motive. The trial polarized public opinion. To some, he was guilty. To others, evidence seemed circumstantial.
A divided nation. Public opinion splits.
Hauptmann was convicted and sentenced to death, with appeals and public debate following for years.
The question is, whose evidence are we actually willing to trust?
And who's left out when we decide what counts as fact?
I'm saying the standards matter. We can't just open the
The
gates.
standards have histories. They're not neutral.
I submit the testimony of the women, for it is they who bore witness to the fire, and their words are etched in my memory.
Critics argued the evidence was not conclusive. Supporters said the conviction fit the facts presented. In 1936, Hauptmann was executed, and the case remained a national flashpoint about justice and due process.
Again, and officials urge calm. From coast to coast, questions multiply faster than answers.
You're listening to the National Service Bulletin.
Stay with us. We'll bring you the latest as it unfolds.
Even decades later, historians debate whether the trial met the standard of fairness the nation expects.
Or maybe just a fresh pen. Look, the date doesn't line up with the seal.
If the seal's forged, the signature might be too. Which changes.
Public outrage over the case helped push Congress to pass the Federal Kidnapping Act in 1932. The law made transporting a kidnapped person across state lines a federal crime and strengthened federal powers.
Policy in 80 centuries. Investigating cross-state case transfer under Searle, Arizona. But the timeline says we're just idiot producers, but a delayed days who made it nerds 2020, a lasting legal shift, which may.
This changed how kidnappings were investigated and helped centralize high-profile cases. The Lindbergh case thus left a legal legacy as well as a cultural one. The Lindbergh case changed America. Law enforcement, media coverage, and public expectations around high-profile crimes. Historians keep examining the evidence, asking what we know, what remains uncertain, and how memory shapes justice. If you enjoyed this deep dive, subscribe for more historic true crime stories explained clearly and respectfully. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment with your thoughts and we'll explore more mysteries next time.